Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? Hope you're all keeping safe and your family members are healthy and safe. Thank you for joining in. Hi, Devaru. Hi, Akshat. Yes, please be safe and stay indoors as much as possible. Whenever you get a chance to get vaccinated, please do get your family members and friends also vaccinated as soon as you can. I hope we'll all be out of this together soon. So we intend to begin at 5 o'clock. Just waiting for a few people to come in. Till then, you can tell me where all you're joining from. Akshat, where are you from? Devru. Great. So we're going to be mostly talking. Obviously, it's booked for books. So we are going to be talking about books and reading and poetry. All right. So I think we can begin now. Hi, Devru, Bangalore. Great. I hope everything is okay at your end. Uh, right. So let me introduce myself. I'm Shuchi Singh. I'm the author of 6 books so far, and just wanted to connect with my readers. And the team at Booked My Books has been really kind to invite me for a live session this Saturday. So really excited about it. I'll tell you all a little about my books in a while. Uh, IBH, okay, lovely. Uh, my first, I mostly write women centric fiction on topics connecting with Indian women, the modern Indian women, and just your everyday relatable coming of age stories. Some people might want to call it chick lit, but I don't like to label it like that because uh, if a book about a story about a man is not called lad lit, so why should a story about a woman be called chick lit? A story is a story. People are people. We all, I think, uh, experience the same universal emotions. So I don't really agree with that segregation of women's fiction, men's fiction. Stories are stories, and I think everybody at some level can connect with them. Uh, I have been writing since I was a child, but my first book came out in 2014. Yeah, it was called Done with Men. It's on the digital platform. It's not out in print. You can find it on Kindle Limited. If you type Done with Men, you will find it. It was by a Canadian publisher called Indie Reads. They are now no longer operational, so I have managed to get the rights to my books. So I have uploaded it on Kindle myself. Then my second one is right here. I can show it to you. It's called um, No Akshat. I'm absolutely not against men. That is, so yeah. The title of the book might lead you to believe so, but it's just um, a very funny romantic comedy. It's not against men. In fact, the sequel to it is called Done with Love. So I'm not against love either. It's all It's both are romantic stories, and uh, no, not against men at all. What would we do without you guys? Uh, okay. So the second one is I'm Big So What. It's about a plus size protagonist. Uh, a girl who's 100 kgs and how she manages to get her confidence back. So also a romantic comedy. So I mean, three are in the romantic comedy zone. Then there is this one called Cage of Desires. This is not a romantic comedy. It's a coming of age story. uh, Thanks, Akshat. It's a coming of age story about a middle class housewife and how she's trapped in her situation and how she finds her way out, how she rebels against it, the consequences that she has to face. So it has been by far the most best selling book so far. I mean, amongst all of them. So I hope you guys would read it and like it. During the pandemic, I have managed to publish two books. One is a poetry collection called Hope Lost and Found. It's all about mental health. Uh, yes, Nakul, I'm just coming to that. Um, so it's about mental health and love and heartbreak and grief and emotions. It's got some lovely illustrations by an artist. So I think if you love poetry, you're going to enjoy it. It's also on Kindle. And then there is a short story collection called Popore, which is also on Kindle. Those are just random short stories that I had written over the years. So I just compiled and published them. Coming to Nakul's question, what made me choose writing as a career? I have been passionate about writing since a very young age, and I think it is one of my strongest skill sets. I really don't know how to do anything else. I don't have any other talents or skills. I can tell stories. I can, work around with words and, take people to different universes. So it's what just started out as a hobby and a passion gradually uh, developed into a career. It was a very natural progression. I started writing for magazines and newspapers, international magazines, and then, for the digital medium. So it just grew from there. So while books are a creative outlet for me, uh, no, that's all right. I think I can keep track of the questions. Keep them coming. That's fine. Um, so yeah, I just gradually, like, books are a creative outlet, but even for my bread and butter, I am into content marketing for leading healthcare brand. So I am the content head there. So I mean, writing, it seeps into every aspect of my life. So yes, you see some more people joining. That's great. In case you have any questions about books, writing, anything, just keep shooting. Which medium do I think is the future for authors? That's a very interesting question, actually, because the reading trends these days are changing very fast. What was true 1 year ago is no more true right now. Um, so as authors, of course, print books, they'll never go out of style. People will always buy books, although the number might keep going down. But yes, it is a challenge. I think the publishing industry is facing this challenge that people no longer frequent bookstores since the pandemic. So a lot of author friends of mine have been self-publishing on Kindle. a lot of content is consumed digitally, and short both you know short fiction, some like novellas, short story collections. These are coming up more prominently because people obviously these days don't have time, so they want to have something to read and enjoy quickly. So yeah, it's a very fast evolving landscape, and of course, social media is always a medium for authors to make themselves visible and make their brand. So Jyoti is asking me, which book is your favorite from your own collection? I would say it is A Cage of Desires. It's very close to my heart. I put my soul into writing it. It was very taxing, very emotionally draining for me to write it because it was a very emotionally intense story, and getting into the head of the protagonist and the complexities, the gray areas. It was a little draining, but it was a very, very satisfying experience, which, of course, now, thankfully, the readers also have liked it. So the hard work has paid off. Um, Cage of Desires is also a love story, or is it more about women's desires? Pooja, it is a little bit of both, I would say. Of course, love forms the center of every story. It can be love for a partner, it can be love for yourself, it can be love for a cause or a freedom. So yeah, desire is the catalyst. Desire is what made the protagonist do what she did, but eventually it was different kinds of love that shaped her decisions at every step of her life. So it's about both of them equally. I hope that answers your question. Why you'll have to read it to know what I really mean. Readers' choices are changing. Which genre holds promise in the 21st century? Yeah, so genre, it's like, it's like the clothing industry has changing fashion trends. I think it's a similar case with books. So sometimes, romance is flying, then there is mythology flying, then there's non-fiction flying, then political, biographies. Nowadays, the environment is more politically charged. So that is, it just it depends on the topicality, what is on the top of the minds of people. But then again, every genre, regardless of the ongoing trend, it has its readers. So even when everybody's gunning after mythology, there'll be always a set of readers who are craving horrors or thrillers. So yeah, right now I think political and non-fiction are top of the list, but that keeps changing. So every kind of book has its readers. Neetal, thank you so much for reading it. Thank you so much. Nakul, do you feel authors should make political statements when everybody gets hounded for holding an opinion? Of course, yeah, everybody should make political statements. We do get hounded. I mean, either side of the fence, you will get hounded either way. But I think trying to be very neutral. Nobody, given the current scenarios, yeah, I don't think anybody can be politically neutral unless you are totally unaware of what is happening around you, and you have absolutely put no thought in understanding what is happening in your country. So whether you express your opinions or not, I don't think anybody with half a brain can be apolitical in this scenario. That said, yes, some of us are fairly more conservative with expressing our opinions, because we know the backlash can be very, very strong. And since we are semi-public figures, like maybe not as famous as that we walk on the street and people mob us, but still on social media and among the reader community, people do know us, and opinions do matter. It's a matter of choice. Some of us are more vocal, sorry, and some of us try and keep it, soft. I choose to be vocal about whatever I feel, because uh, I feel compelled to do so. There's no other reason. I have, maybe it's a drawback, but if I have an opinion, it has to come out. So I will not keep it to myself. Uh, I would like to know more about your suggestions for budding authors. Budding authors, yeah, I mean, just right. Everything else is uh, everything else put aside, marketing and your technicalities or anything. Just write a lot. Give your craft time every day. Block some time to work on your project, whatever you're working on. You're working on a book. You're working on a poetry collection. Set aside some time to take it forward. The most daunting part is to finish what you have started. Then everything else comes next. How to find a publisher, how to market your book, all that is secondary. First, get the book in your hand. I mean, on your laptop. So yeah, don't think too much and write what you believe in. Don't go by trends. कि अभी ये चल रहा है, ये लिखूं या वो लिखूं. Say, tell the story you want to tell. Trends keep changing, and regardless, you will always if you have a strong story to tell, there will be people eager to hear it. Are you Jyoti is asking me, are you working on anything new? If yes, please tell us about it. Jyoti, I wish I had something very um, uh, impressive to tell you, but unfortunately, I don't. The pandemic months have been very, very harsh on me in terms of my full time job. uh, it took up more than what it should have. And right now, I have just switched jobs. I have joined a new company. So, again, things are chaotic. I'm settling in. So, I haven't really started a new project. And I think it will take me a while to, get into that groove. But yes, in the past few months, I have published a poetry collection. They were obviously not written at one go. They were written over a few years. So I collected them, got them illustrated, and I have published them under the title Hope Lost and Found. It's on Kindle, so if you can look it up, it's free on Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can download it and read it for free. Let me know how you find it. And novel, yeah, I will as soon as possible get to work on it. I do have a few ideas in mind, but nothing is cooked up yet. So yeah. Rishabh is asking me, who's your favorite author name? At least five, and why do you like them? यार ये बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन आप लोग पूछते हो. मतलब सब लोग पूछते हैं हर इंटरव्यू में, हर पैनल डिस्कशन पे. या फेवरेट ऑनेस्टली मेरे नहीं है. इट इज नॉट द ऑथर that I love. Same author can write something that I have loved, and the same author can be disappointing at times. So yeah, but for very different reasons. mm, ये इतने सारे हैं. मतलब I'll skip this question. यार ये मेरे को बहुत ही, it becomes very daunting for me to choose कि क्लासिक्स में से चूज करूँ कि कंटेम्प्रेरी में से करूँ, अपने कलीग्स में से करूँ. Yeah, but there are a bunch, and every kind of author, starting from Chetan Bhagat to Murakami, they have something to offer, some inspiration to offer. So yeah, Sophie Kinsella is one, then Adichie is one. Uh, Classics I've always loved, the old school English classics. So yeah, plenty, yeah, plenty. Right now I'm like totally blank. I should have prepared for this question, but I did not. Sorry. Yeah, anybody has anything else? Okay, so I was actually in the few words on Sophie Kinsella and J.K. Rowling. So yeah, Sophie Kinsella is always like a Rajma Chawal of fiction. The comfort factor, and after anything you have read, you just go back to Sophie Kinsella for a light read. It's relaxing, and she's a very witty style. Very, very on brand, if I have to say, in terms of chiclet. But I think nowadays it's getting that style, not Sophie Kinsella in particular, is getting a little cliche. So the way we tell you women's stories now is also evolving. So yeah, that, but she'll always remain among my top favorite of authors. J.K. Rowling, of course, is J.K. Rowling. I know. I mean, her creativity and her imagination and storytelling skills aside, she faces a lot of backlash for her political opinions. But um, I don't know why people target her so much, because I don't think she's ever said anything wrong. She's just been very, spade is a spade, but maybe it got misinterpreted by a group of people and they started hounding her for being homophobic and transphobic. But I don't think she is that. Yeah, if you had to read just one book for the rest of your life, which book would it be? Yeah, it would be Wuthering Heights by Emily Bront, because I mean every time I read it, it makes me cry. I don't know, second half of the book, I'm always I don't know, I just connect with the story at a very deep level. uh, and of course I had a crush on Heathcliff like every other girl. So yeah, that. Which one novel will you suggest to a man who doesn't believe to be stylish? Doesn't believe to be stylish. या नॉवल कहाँ हेल्प कर पाएगी स्टाइल में? वो तो खुद ही डेवलप करना, फैशन मैगजीन्स पढ़ो एंड take inspiration. Like, don't take inspiration from Bollywood stars. They're so tacky. Like, but yeah, I mean, novel से तो नहीं आएगी, but हाँ, I think the best way to go, I want a style tip from me, I can give that. Just keep it very clean and classic. Smell nice, and be clean. मतलब stylish तो बाद में, I think most men falter there only. Like, just smell great. Be nicely scrubbed, clean, wear a nice cologne, wear clean clothes, and keep it classic. Like, don't try and go overboard, don't try too hard with anything. Just a simple t-shirt and a pair of jeans with sneakers is also stylish. So, any fictional character you would like to recreate? Fictional characters written by me, I recreate them all the time. Yeah, for I mean, uh, oh, you mean fictional favorites who I would like to recreate again? I think I could try recreating Heathcliff in a more contemporary setting, probably in an Indian setting, and see, because I think it would fit in very well. His character would fit in very well. Yeah. So, anything else? I see people joining. So if you have any questions, keep shooting. Yeah, otherwise, I'll keep talking nonsense like I usually do. So if you're on Twitter, you can follow me at Rani Chandravati. Um, yeah. Um, I see somebody else also has a crush on Heathcliff. Yeah. So if not authors, which are your recent best books? Uh, yeah, I know I'm very late to the party, but I just managed to read a bit of Sapiens. It's mind blowing and very, very mentally stimulating. Gives you a lot to think about. So still halfway through it, I haven't completed it, but I'm on with it right now. If you were to write fan fiction, what you to do? Yeah, fan fiction, I have never really given it a very hard thought. But yeah, now that you have mentioned it, I probably should. I mean, I really don't have one character that I would like to uh, do fan fiction about, but yeah, it's something I need to think about. I don't have anything in mind right now. What do you prefer in your leisure time, poems or novels or stories? Yeah, see that, I have to confess something here. I would really love to read a lot more than I am reading right now. There was a time when I was always stuck on a book, one book after the other, and now it's just one Netflix series after the other. So it's a very, very bad thing. Need to get back to reading. But I prefer poems these days because, time is short usually, days are hectic. So, just flipping through, you can start anywhere with a poetry collection and just read a few, and it relaxes your mind. So that's what I am going to these days. But yeah, I'm watching a lot of Netflix, which I need to cut down. Have you read Old Man and the Sea? What are your thoughts on it? Sorry, I have not read it yet, but I will look it up for sure. Bhavna, you're here as promised. I know, babe, you love the poems. And yeah. Any Netflix series you would like to mention? ए नेटफ्लिक्स तो है, मैं देखती हूँ भूल जाती हूँ एक के बाद. आई एम वाचिंग द 100 these days. It's got a lot of senseless stuff, but it's fun. It's like a video game. People dying, one problem after the other, fighting, dying, mindless stuff. But सही है, मजा आ रहा है उसमें भी. What's more important in a novel, character or plot? I think character, because at least for me, whenever I start writing, I start with a character. I have a person in mind, a very multifaceted character sketch, and the story flows from the character. It is that character's story. So for me, character is central, and it is the starting and the end point of a story. Suggest a book of good poetry collection. मेरी पढ़ लो ना, मतलब it's good. Bhavna just said it is, she loved it, and she actually does love it. She often keeps sending me screenshots of poems from my books, and like, I love this, babe, I love this, babe, like, I love you too, babe. So is that person real or fictional? uh, yeah, it is mostly fictional, but obviously drawn from real life. Something about them is inspired from my observations of people, and the rest, obviously, we add fiction, layers of fiction on it. So, yes. Netflix recommendation है that watch that one, Behind Her Eyes. It's crazy. I mean, it's amazing. I know this is a discussion about books. We should not be discussing series here. It would be like बहुत ही तौहीन, but let's not do that. Yeah, damn, and you have to be in a certain mental space to understand them. I can actually read one aloud for you if you would want. Bhavna sent it to me, so it's in my WhatsApp. Yeah. Bhavna is with us here in the Facebook Live, and just 15 minutes ago, she was right below my building to collect something. So, yeah. One question from us all. We would like to know about your next project. I will, I'll try and get my next project out as quickly as possible. I was working on a book, but it got stalled because of all the full-time work during the pandemic. But I'll get back to it. It's also a romantic comedy uh, about a divorcee. So I hope I can cook it up quickly. कोई बात नहीं भावना, I'll read it out. मैं लैपटॉप पे खोल के पढ़ती हूँ. हाँ अक्षत, I'm just reading it out. That's okay. Just give me 1 minute. I will read that out. So it's Bhavna's favorite. हाँ मिल गया मेरे को. Yeah, right. Desperate times. क्या करें? So this one is called Surrenders. I can show you. It's open on my laptop here. व्हाट्सएप पे खुली है मैंने. भावना ने मेरे को भेजा था इसका स्क्रीनशॉट a couple of days ago. I think she was reading it. So it's from Hope Lost and Found. It's called Surrender. So I'm just going to read that out for you. Breathe life into me with your words. Warm me up and burn me down. Tighten your grip around my pieces. Shatter me into a million more. Show me parts of myself I have never seen. Take me to places I've never been. Bas, that is it. Thank you. How long do we have? I mean, do we have more time? Or is it time to end it? We can. What do you think of erotica as a genre? So erotica, a lot of people. Thanks, Neetal. Thanks. I need the validation for my poem. Like with fiction, I'm still confident. Poems, I'm not confident at all. So, oh nice, last 5 minutes. ठीक है. Erotica as a genre. ठीक है. Erotica, see, a lot of people confuse erotica with porn, which it is not. So any author who writes erotica, like say me, Bhavna. So people will always troll us like, oh, porn likhte hain, ye log to porn writers. But that is not true. Erotica is an art. It is not just about writing about sex. It is evoking sensuality, through words. And sometimes you don't have to use a single erotic word to do that. So it is more about the prose, the beauty of prose. So, and I think people who appreciate that understand it. But if you just want to just pull it down or trivialize it, you can call it porn. But it is not. I see both things very, very differently. So I think we have run out of time now. And thanks a lot for coming here. This was really fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed it too. So read my books. Tell me how you like them. And I am on Twitter at Rani Chandravati. In case you're wondering what kind of a weird name is that, Chandravati was my great grandmother. So I took her name for my Twitter account. I mean, I love that name. It has the moon element in it. So Rani मैंने खुद ही लगा दिया because I was feeling like a queen that day. Thank you, Kumar. Kumar. Of course, it's you. हाँ यार, वापस डिप्रेशन में जाने दो, फिर लिखते हैं बाकी पोएम्स. आजकल थोड़ा मूड अच्छा चल रहा है मेरा. So it's very difficult to write poetry when you're feeling sane. Thanks, Neetal. Thanks for having me. It was really delightful. And thank you all for making the time for this. चलो अभी 5 बज गया है. Let's have chai or something and chill. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Thanks a lot. चलो signing out. चाय बनाते हैं जाके. All right. Bye.